Hello students, a very good morning. Myself Virendra Kumar Maurya. My topic is three-phase faults. Electrical fault. What is the definition of electrical fault? The fault in the power system is defined as the defect in the power system due to which current is distracted from its intended path. Faults in the power system may occur because of the number of natural disturbances like lightning, high-speed winds, earthquake, etc. It may also occur because of some accidents like falling off a tree, vehicle colliding with the supporting structure, and aeroplane crashing, etc. Faults in the power system is mainly categorized into two types. They are open circuit fault and second one is short circuit fault. These faults are further categorized. Now the number one, that is open circuit fault. It is categorized as one conductor open, two conductor open and three conductors open. Now the number two, that is short circuit fault. Short circuit fault is further categorized as symmetrical fault and unsymmetrical fault. Symmetrical fault as three-phase short circuit fault and three-phase to ground fault. Now in the case of unsymmetrical fault, it is single line to ground fault, double line to ground fault, and third one is line to line fault. Now see all the faults in detail. Now the number one is open circuit fault. What is the definition of open circuit fault? The open circuit fault mainly occur because of the failure of one or two conductors. The open circuit fault takes place in series with the line, and because of this it is also called a series fault. Such type of faults affect the reliability of the power system. In the open circuit fault, one conductor open is shown over here. This one is the first one. See the first phase, that is the red phase, that one is open. So current is interrupted. Such type of fault is known as series fault in one conductor. Now see the two conductor open fault. In this type of fault, two conductors or two phases are open. It may be any two phases in between these three. It is red and blue, blue and yellow, yellow and red. Current is interrupted by two conductors, so it is known as two conductor open fault. Now see the third one of open circuit fault, that is three conductor open fault. In this type of fault, there is only one combination. All the three phases are open, all the three conductors are open. That's why it is known as three conductor open fault. It is one of the series fault. Now see the short circuit fault in three-phase power system. In this type of fault, the conductors of the different phases come into the contact with each other with a power line, power transformer, or any other circuit element, due to which a large current will flow in one or two phases of the system. This large current is used for determining the rating of circuit breaker. Now see three-phase short circuit fault, which is a symmetrical fault. See the diagram very carefully. Here all the three phases are short circuited. That's why it is known as three-phase short circuit fault. But system remains balanced. That is, the system remains symmetrical even after the fault. The line fault occurs rarely, but it is the most severe type of fault which involves the largest current. Now see the next one, that is three-phase to ground fault. In this type of fault, all the three phases are short circuited along with ground. The probability of occurrence of such type of fault is nearly 2 to 3%. Now see the second type of short circuit fault, that is unsymmetrical fault. In unsymmetrical fault, different current will flow in the different phases, that is current differing in magnitude and phases in the three phases of the power system, as known as unsymmetrical fault. In the unsymmetrical fault, the first one is single line to ground fault, as it is clear by the picture that single line to ground fault occurs when one conductor falls to the ground or contact the neutral conductor. The 70 to 80% of the fault in the power system is the single line to ground fault. Now see the second unsymmetrical fault, that is double line to ground fault. It is clear by its diagram that in double line to ground fault, the two lines come in contact with each other along with the ground. The probability of such type of faults is nearly 10%. Now the next unsymmetrical fault, that is the third one, is line to line fault, as it is clear by its diagram that a line to line fault occurs when two conductors are short circuited. The major cause of this type of fault is the heavy wind. The heavy wind swinging the line conductors, which may touch together and hence causes short circuit. The percentage of such type of faults is approximately 15 to 20%. Now see effects of electrical faults. We have been discussed so many faults over here. Now see their effects. Number one, that is over current flow. So when the fault occurs, it creates a very low impedance path for the current. This results a heavy current is drawn from the supply and make the condition of overcurrent. After overcurrent flow, the next one is loss of equipment. See it very carefully. Heavy current will flow through the equipment due to the short circuit, which leads to improper working of equipments or devices. Sometimes heavy fire causes complete burnout of the equipment. Now see the effect of electrical faults in interconnected active circuits. Faults not only affect the location at which they occur, but also disrupts the active interconnected circuits to the faulted line. Now the next one, that is danger to operating personnel. Fault occurrence can also cause shocks to individuals. The severity of the shock depends on the current and voltage at the fault location and even may lead to death. Now, in the series of effect of electrical faults, the next one is electrical fires. Short circuit causes flashovers and spark due to ionization of air between two conducting paths, which further leads to fire, as we often observe that in news such as building and shopping complex fires. Keeping in mind regarding electrical faults, we are going to use some limiting devices known as faults limiting devices. With the help of fault limiting devices, it is possible to minimize causes like human errors but not environmental changes. Fault clearing is a crucial task in the power system network. If we manage to disrupt or break the circuit when a fault arises, it reduces the considerable damage to the equipment and also property. Some of these fault limiting devices includes fuses, circuit breaker, relays, etc. And we are going to discuss these devices one by one. Fuse is the first line of defense in electrical faults. It is the primary protection device. It is a thin wire enclosed in a casing or glass which connects two metal parts. This wire melts when excessive current flows in the circuit. The type of fuse depends on the voltage at which it is to operate. The manual replacement of the wire is necessary once it is blown out. The second one is circuit breakers. Circuit breakers are used to disconnect the faulty portion from the healthy one. It causes automatic tripping of the circuit when a fault occurs. It can be electromechanical circuit breakers like vacuum circuit breakers, oil circuit breakers, or ultra fast electronic circuit breakers, etc. And the next one is relay. It is a conditional based operating switch. It consists of a magnetic coil and normally open and closed contacts. Fault occurrence rises the current which energizes the relay coil, resulting in the contact to operate, so the circuit is interrupted from flowing of current. Protective relays are of different types like impedance relay, Moore relay, distance relay, etc. Now the next one is lightning power protection devices. It is used for the high voltage protection. These includes lightning arrestor and ground devices to protect the system against the lightning and surge voltages. Now see the question based on three-phase fault. This one is the generator G1. This one is the another generator G2. These two are running in parallel, right? The rating of this generator is 5 MVA, 10 MVA. It generated 11 kV, and this one also generate 11 kV. And the reactance of this generator is 10%, and reactive value of this generator is 12%. Now this one is the bus bar having rating 11 kV. Then this one is the transformer number T1. Its rating is 5 MVA and voltage ratio is 11 kV to 33 kV, and value of the reactance is only 8%. After that, this one is the bus bar 33 kV, transmission line having the value of Z, that is 1 plus J0 ohm per kilometer, and length of the transmission line is 30 km. After that, there is a transformer it is T2, 10 MVA is the rating, 33 kilovolt oblique 6.6 kilovolt, and reactance 10%. Then after transmission line, it is J1 ohm per kilometer. The length of this transmission line is 5 km. Right? But there is a condition that system is operating at no load rated voltage condition before the fault occurs at point F, and find the fault current. Whatever the fault current, that is IF, calculate this value. Okay. Now I'm going to convert this single line diagram into the reactive diagram. Before that, it is necessary to assume base MVA is 10 MVA and base kV is 11 kV. The value of the base MVA is same throughout the circuit, and the value of the base kV depends on the voltage ratio of the transformer. Okay, here the base value, that is base MVA, is 10 MVA and the base kV is 33 kV. After that, now at this point, here the base value is, it is same throughout the circuit, but the base kV depend upon the voltage ratio of the transformer, that is 6.6 kilovolt. This one T1 is the step up transformer. It convert 11 kV into 33 kV after the transmission by the TL transmission line. This one is the step down transformer having the
voltage ratio 33 kV to 6.6 kV. Okay, these are the base MVA rating, which is same, that is 10 MVA, and base kV is 11 kV, 33 kV and 6.6 kV. Now see the diagram very carefully. This one is the transformer number 1, this one is the transformer number 2. Its reactance is over here and its reactance is over here. Now I am going to draw diagram in per unit system. Per unit system. Okay. The reactance of second transformer is 12%, so it is J 0.12, and for the first one it is 10%, so it is J 0.2. Why it is so? Why it is 0.2? See it very carefully. Base MVA rating is 10 MVA, but the rating of the transformer is only 5 MVA. It is 10%. Once we convert it as a 10 MVA, then it is 20%. That's why it is 0.2. This part is complete now. After that, see this portion, transformer number 1. Transformer number 1 having the rating of 5 MVA, but here it is 10 MVA. Base value is 10 MVA. That's why in the place of 8%, we are going to take as a 16%. Right? 16%. So for this portion, there is a reactance having the value of J 0.16. Is it okay? These two transformers are operating in parallel. This one for the transformer. Now for the TL. Here TL is given. Its impedance is 1 plus J0 ohm per kilometer. First of all, I am going to multiply this with the kilometers, that is 30 kilometer, and divide it by the base value, that is Z base. Okay, it become it will look like this, that is impedance 1 plus J0 into 30 divided by Z base. We know that the value of the Z base is nothing but B base square divided by S base. So B base is 33, the square of 33 divided by S base, that is 10. Right? Formula is Z base is equal to B base whole square divided by S base. According to this formula, right, this one is over here. Now second transformer, that is T2, its rating is 10 MVA and reactance is 10%. So this is like this. It become J 0.1. After that there is a transmission line. This one is the impedance, that is J1 ohm per kilometer, and its length is 5 kilometer. Okay, once again I'm going to convert it by the same method. It is J1 into 5 kilometer divided by Z base. Z base is B base square, that is 6.6 whole square divided by 10. Now the circuit is complete, and this one is the portion of the fault current, right? So current which is flowing over here is IF, that is faulty current. Now make the diagram complete. I'm going to connect this line over here. Now the diagram is complete, right? Once again I am repeating here. After taking the base values of MVA, which is same throughout the circuit, and kV rating, it depends upon the voltage ratio of the transformer, that is 11 kV, 33 kV and 6.6 kV. These are the sections. Okay, now to calculate the fault current, it is necessary to make a Thevenin equivalent circuit, right? To make the Thevenin equivalent circuit, first of all find out the open terminal voltage, then after impedance of the circuit, then we can calculate the IF. Okay, now go to the question. Now listen me very carefully and see the question. According to the question, system is operating at no load rated condition. What is the meaning of no load rated condition? Its meaning is, this one is the voltage, and this voltage is present everywhere throughout the circuit. At each and every point voltage remains same. If the condition is given that the system is operating at no load rated voltage condition before the fault occurs. Okay, that's why the voltage across these two terminals is 1 pu, right? Okay, voltage, that is Thevenin equivalent voltage, is 1 pu. Now I'm going to calculate ZTH. For the Thevenin equivalent impedance, now according to the Thevenin theorem, all the voltage sources are short circuited and current sources as open circuit. Okay, these two are the voltage sources. So first of all remove them and short circuit and open it. Whatever the impedance across this is known as the ZTH. Now for the ZTH, these two are connected in parallel, so it is J 0.2, J 0.12. These two are connected in parallel, and with this combination rest 4 are in series. So this one is J 0.16, this one plus this one, it become J dot 0 into 30, it become 30 into 100, 300 divided by
Square of 33
plus J 0.1 plus this one, it is 50J divided by 6.6 whole square, right? With the help of this equation we can calculate the value of ZTH. Now I am going to draw Thevenin equivalent circuit. Thevenin equivalent circuit contains a source having the value of 1 pu, it's your VTH. Then after a impedance, that is ZTH, and then the point where the fault current will flow. IF is the faulty current, and the value of IF is given by the formula V divided by Z, right? Once you calculate the value of ZTH over here, then after we can calculate the value of fault current. After the calculation, the value of ZTH is 4.24 angle 86.28 degree. After the calculation, this one is the value of Z. Okay, that's why the fault current is given by the formula VTH divided by ZTH. What is the value of VTH? It is 1 per unit, so it is 1 angle 0 divided by this one, that is 4.24 angle 86.28 degree. After the calculation, it is 0.23 angle minus 86.28 degree. This is the value of current. But listen me very carefully. This is the value of current, but in per unit. So for the calculation of actual current, actual fault current, it is necessary to multiply faulty current per unit with the base value. Okay, faulty current is 0.23 into I base, and I base is given 0.23 into S base divided by under root 3 into B base, right? The value of S base, it is 10, and B base, it is 6.6. After the calculation, fault current, actual value of fault current is 201.9 ampere. Actual value of fault current in the given circuit is 201.9 ampere.